everyone, I'm Portia Uswansa.
And I'm Precious Suola.
And I'm Betty Achampo.
My name is Leisha Acharya.
And I'm Owusu Ford.
And we are from Fairfield High School.
We're going to go right ahead and start presenting our showcase. Portia?
Yes.
Could we have the slide on the screen?
Oh. Okay. Have you ever been in a room full of people but felt like you're the only one? Well, some of you here are experiencing that right now since you came along. But when I came here in middle school, 2018, I felt really left out of my class because I had a lack of community.
Students who struggle with procrastination find it hard to find the motivation to start their assignments.
In today's society, not taking accountability is very common. Many students aren't accountable for those things that they're responsible for and are committed to.
That's why we came up with our solution.
Classmeet. Classmeet is an app that seeks to connect students from different backgrounds on the basis of their similar academic interests. More school districts in our community are finding it hard to provide adequate resources for students. After school tutoring is not an option because students don't have rides back home, and out of school tutoring is way too expensive. That's why Classmeet is breaking educational barriers by providing free traditional tutoring.
As a student, I know how awkward it can be asking a teacher for help because you feel like you're taking away other students' time. That's why the Classmeet peer-to-peer learning is helpful because students can connect with each other and help each other through their homeworks.
Unlike other apps and websites, Classmeet is completely free for students who don't have those resources. Here's a little bit about our process, Portia.
Before we made Classmeet, we met with teachers and students and interviewed them. How will Classmeet be able to use to benefit them, and how can we improve? And this is what they have to say. Oh, sorry.
Can we have the video, please?
The app Classmeet
is a great way for my students that struggle for social interactions to meet.
When I had any class, I knew that I struggled talking to my peers, interacting with them. I had really bad social anxiety. This app called Classmeet
is an excellent place for students to get together, work on homework with one another, communicate with one another.
Classmeets is a great way for my students to ask for help when I think they have like similar homeworks with me. I think that like eligible abilities to help me do my work.
Classmeet helps me interact with my peers in my class.
It's a safe place for anybody who needs to communicate with their fellow classmates.
I know personally in my bedroom class that we all want to have a studying community, and Classmeet is just the right app for it.
I suggest that you get on Classmeet.
So before we even began planning for our showcase, we wanted a problem that was relevant to all of you. That's why we consulted with our planning team seated right over here. And what we came up is the lack of academic resources for students.
Our UX and UI team from the very beginning has wanted to create a clear and usable user interface for everybody that uses our app, and we did this by making sure that it's a welcoming environment and everything is easily accessible.
Our presentation team brought in different visuals and information to make the video and to make the presentation.
As a coding team, we worked to create the ideas brought forth by our UX and UI team.
And as the project managers, we knew in order to bring our vision to life, we have to spend endless of hours trying to push through our problems so that we can persevere and come up with this project.
To create the rest of our design and layout, we used a program called Figma. Through Figma, we used our color palette to again make sure everything is welcoming and doesn't feel overwhelming or stressful for the students using our app. We also made sure that everything in it is accessible and user-friendly and something that students can easily understand.
We decided to make an iOS app. Using the integrated developer environment Xcode and the language Swift, we were able to bring to life the ideas brought forth by our UX UI team.
During our planning for our showcase, we did it mostly remotely, meeting online and in person just to touch base. Here are some of the obstacles that we faced.
Coding an app isn't easy, and while we're coding this, we experienced many errors. However, as a team, we worked together and were able to solve them.
Because Fairfield High School doesn't sponsor our project, we have to alternate for free sources like Figma and Xcode.
Here's how to navigate ClassMeet.
Once the student opens ClassMeet, they'll be greeted with a Make Your Account page where they can join the ClassMeet family.
Student IDs are required to join school-specific forums.
After making your account or logging in, students are able to look for groups based on their interests and people that have similar ambitions as them.
And then lastly, the most important thing is to
Enjoy!
Here are some of the plans that we have on the backlog for the future.
We plan to implement a Pomodoro timer where they can study for 25 minutes and have 5-minute break increments.
In the future, we hope to create ClassMeet's sister company, WorkMeet, where professionals from different fields can connect with each other on the basis of similar interests.
Later on, we want students to be able to connect to others outside of their own school district so they can build better connections and lifelong friendships.
Here are some of the outlooks on ClassMeet.
So unlike classmate competitors like Discord and GroupMe, we prioritize our students' safety, and the most important thing for us is to make our users enjoy using the app.
So just to recap, ClassMeet is a free alternative to traditional tutoring, and it's for 15 million high school students just like yourself. And to keep it free, we hope to cooperate with organizations like Interalliance and other community organizations. So right now, we're going to show you a demo on how to use ClassMeet.
Can you please play the second video?
Connect. Interact with other people who are learning the same topics as you. Meet. Join study groups and forums to further your curiosity. Thrive. Surround yourself with supportive communities and embrace opportunities for growth to truly thrive. Users are greeted with our welcome back view. If they don't have an account, they can click our don't have an account button and are taken to our sign up page where they can sign up. Since we have an account, we'll log in. From here, users can see all the news from all their classes they're a part of. After looking at their classrooms, students can move to their groups where they can see all the groups they're a part of. To join more, they can click our plus button. Here, you can see all available groups, ranging from math to science to history to English. After clicking our sidebar, students can access many things. But the best part of this is that using through our local library, students can reserve a study room right on the app. From here, users can go back home and log out. Thank you.
Thank you.
And just to wrap this off, don't forget we're from Fairfield High School and our app is
ClassMeet.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Fairfield High School. And now I would like to welcome up our Mercy McCall.
is the Mercy Macaulay High School Inner Lines chapter, and we are doing, slide please, home security with AI, and our app name is Easy House.
Okay, so wouldn't you like to come home after a long day to everything just right? With our app Easy House, you can now do everything from the comfort of your own device.
The history of our project came from our Xavier Conference competition, and there we developed the concept of a smart home designed to organize daily routines and incorporate a security system. Having already created a prototype for our smart home security system, we selected this project for further development due to its foundation and design. Our goals for this project will focus on expanding the existing design and developing the application software.
So our purpose and function of our app. Our app is going to mainly use AI. What AI does, it helps track the user's preferences and habits. This can be done through our routines part of our app. What the routines part of our app does is basically the user inputs their routine, and based on their routine, certain smart devices turn on and off. So for example, this is in our example routine. At 7 a.m., if the user wants to wake up at that time, they can have it so their curtains open, their alarm goes up, and the bathroom light turns on every single morning through their certain smart devices. And then throughout the day, different devices work based on their routine that they input. Our app uses AI and Bluetooth connection to connect to these different devices, and this can be anything from automatic lights, thermostat, Alexas, motion sensors, curtains, and more.
Our targeted audience are homeowners, renters, individuals, and families concerned about their home safety and security, especially in populated and urban areas. Through our marketing channel, we will create high-quality articles, guides, and videos to attract our customer by promoting content on social media such as TikTok, Twitter, or Instagram. Our strategy is to focus on the ease of use, advanced features, and to create an identity that conveys trust, security, and efficiency. As for our profit plan, users can purchase a package that includes our cameras, lights, motors, and they will also receive a code to enter into the app and connect these devices associated with Easy House for $150. They can also purchase additional Easy House device if they're looking for more advanced options. These are sold online on our website or in stores. The users also have the options to use their own personal device, not under brand Easy House, to connect with our app, but must pay a monthly subscription fee.
All right, using AI in homes, benefits and risks. So obviously our app, Easy App, is all in one, and that means you do not need to download separate apps, which can save phone storage, and it is compatible on both Android and Apple devices. Easy House is Bluetooth compatible, meaning all you have to do is open the app and follow the directions and then connect it to the Wi-Fi. Our app is creative and personable for kids and adults, so you can create routines suited for children, teens, and adults. Examples of separate apps would be like MyQ, which is used for opening the garage, or Alexa, which is used for obviously the Alexa in your house. However, Easy House matters and is different because we combine all of these elements and expand upon them. So Alexa can be limited and may not know all the answers and can just turn on lights or everything, but we connect to all devices in our house. However, there are risks using artificial intelligence in smart home devices, and we are recognizing this for our homeowners and other users. For example, hackers, data breaches, or malware attacks can occur in the house, but to combat this, we would install regular software updates inside of the Easy House app and make sure to ensure yearly password cycles, so we would remind the user to change their password regularly, and also instill firewalls and Wi-Fi protocols inside of the app.
So the next slides are screenshots of a model of our house that I made on Tinkercad. It will help display how our app might be practically applied in your life. So the screen on the bookshelf tells you information about your bookshelf, and the screen can be planted on the wall right next to your bookshelf. It will tell you what kind of books you have, what books you have and haven't read, and keep track of any reading goals you have. So the starter pack comes with a separate device that attaches inside the garage. This separate device joins with the app using Bluetooth. The app talks to the cloud server, which sends a message to the internet, and the internet sends a signal to the house to open the garage. And all the user needs to do is to click a button in the app to open the garage, and all of this will happen. So the motor will open the curtain at a time in the morning according to the user's preference. The motor works very much like the garage opener does, and how it is connected to the app. So the fridge has cameras inside of it that survey the food and sees what kind of key stock items you might need to stock up on, and helps curate a grocery list based on this information. So let's say the cameras notice you always eat pickles. If you're running low on pickles, it will add it to the grocery list. So inside the child's bedroom, there's an Alexa-like device that will remind the child when it's time to clean their room, do their homework, different things like that. It would just help the child form a good daily routine. So the TV, if it notices you do not touch the remote in let's say an hour, it will say, are you still awake? And if you do not say you're still awake, then it would shut down. This will help save electricity. The app will notice if this becomes a habit. So if you always fall asleep in front of the TV, you'll know. So the lights will turn on in the morning automatically, according to when you want them to. And this will just help you stay awake, stay alert, keep on your morning routine. So this is what the house looks like all together. The house shows how all the different pieces come together, and this shows how the app routine being carried out every life.
So this is our trifold. On this side, we have the notifications page. This is the page, this is like the first page when you open the app. Basically, it notifies you about your routines. So for example, if you had an alarm that's set at 7 a.m., it would alert you and notify you about that. In our app, we have 3 main pages. It's home, comfort, and security. We changed comfort to settings now because we want you to be able to decide your own comfort. But this is an example of our security page. In our security page, we have doors, motions, and cameras. Motion is for the motion detectors that you have in your house. Doors are for all the automatic locks you have, and then your cameras. So in the middle is an example of how you can click on each button and lock and unlock your doors.
Now, we did make some modifications. Originally, we had 3 tabs, Home, Comfort, and Settings. But instead, we decided to change Comfort into a Settings tab because we decided it's up to the user itself to decide what comfort means to them. So instead, we ended up adding light and temperature to a device. You're able to add devices with Bluetooth and make different options for what you want to do with them. With the doors, you'd be able to open, close, turn them, unlock them and unlock them. With lights, you'd be able to turn them on and off, and such as. Now, this is what our app actually looks like. You can see at the bottom our Home, Security, and Settings tab. Here at the beginning from homepage, you see our notifications, which would notify you if you have an alarm set for that day or anything else. Motion detected, lights turned on when you're out of the room, and such as. If we go over to the Security tab, we're able to see our lights, doors, temperatures. Inside these areas, you'll be able to click in them and adjust them depending on what you want to do. Now, over here, we have our settings, where you have your account and you'd be able to add more accounts. You have your eco features, eco support such as privacy, notifications, communications, offers, support, and public review. Support and communications do around the same thing, but with communication, you're able to call us directly and for any help you may have with your app or connecting any other devices. With privacy, your privacy matters to us, and we want to keep your data safe and make sure nothing goes wrong with it. Offers, you'd be able to see our bundles, our devices, our screens, and such as.
Our purpose of this project is to explore how a home security app could revolutionize the way we interact with our home safety. We demonstrate how it moves beyond traditional systems that can also provide more convenience and accommodating experience. From our intuitive interface that put control at your fingertip, this app allows you to manage your home safety with ease. Ultimately, our goal is to not give you just security, but peace of mind, knowing that your home is protected and connected from your mobile device. Thank you.
Once again to our Mercy Macaulay chapter. And next, we would like to welcome up our Seven Hills chapter.
Hello, we're the Seven Hills team, and we're here to present about Title Titan. And my name is Michael. Hello, I'm Tyler. I'm Jasper. I'm Danny.
And I'm Nathan, and we're here to present to you Title Titan, a buoyant power and electric generator.
So first we have to set the scene and explain the problem before we can talk about our solution. So there are two main problems we would like to talk about, which is ocean construction and energy production. Current methods of ocean construction use the use of solid steel supports called piles, and they're anchored directly into the seabed. And so oil rigs, remote research stations, they all use these steel piles that are dug into the seabed. And so the main problem with this is that because they're so rigid, they have to take the full force of the ocean currents moving in and out between the piles. So for example, a skyscraper, if you can think of a skyscraper, it's actually designed to sway a little with the wind. Because if it was fully strict and rigid, it would actually collapse due to the force of the wind from the distance of its center of mass. And so next, Nathan can talk about energy production.
So we are also here to address energy production. We're in an energy crisis as well as a global warming crisis, meaning we need more sources of energy, ideally renewable. Thus, we must diversify energy production to avoid over-reliance on certain energy pipelines.
So what does marine infrastructure look like? We have a few examples up here, but in general, there are research centers such as the Plocan and the Aido Research Center. There are oil rigs such as the Baku oil rig in Russia, and there are commercial piers and docks. And what you'll notice about all of these examples is that they all use solid piles, which Michael just defined. But there's an alternative, buoyant piles. Similar to solid piles, they're still long, solid, thick rods, but they're hollow. And since they're hollow, they're watertight, and you can put a certain amount of water in it, meaning you can control the buoyancy. And additionally, it's anchored to the ground so that there's a force of tension as you have the buoyant force pulling up, but the anchor holding it down.
Yeah, and so there are two main studies that we analyzed. There's a 1993 study and patent for TBPs, or tension buoyant platforms, and then another design in 2018 by Feng Fu. And so this directly contracts with those fixed platforms, as I was talking before, because the force of tension is pulling upwards, because it's anchored to the ground, the buoyant force is creating that tension, which actually holds it relatively in place. But because it's buoyant, and because there's a little air within these piles, it's naturally floating and also able to sway. So TVPs kind of maximize the flexibility of these piles while also making sure that they're not taking the full force of the ocean currents. So next, we're going to talk about wave electricity and current means of electric production. So I'm sure you guys all know that right now we're using fossil fuels, and that's not the best way of creating energy. And we need to diversify our energy pipelines to make sure we're moving towards a more sustainable future. And so one way to explore and diversify our energy pipeline is to explore other forms of energy, such as wave energy. So what's the main problem with wave electricity currently? It's a high initial investment. So when you're building out in the ocean, it's really expensive to build, naturally just because there's so much water and it's difficult to do. But in addition, there's ongoing maintenance costs such as saltwater corrosion, as well as biofouling, which we need to address. And so how does Title Titan solve these issues? We embed ocean construction with wave energy. So in these buoyant piles, we're actually putting a electric generators, which will lower the high initial investment costs as well as the maintenance costs, because we're naturally already building these support systems for oil rigs and other research stations. So if we're able to implement wave electricity inside these structures, then it becomes much cheaper and lower cost to actually build these wave generators. For example, Sweden's Core Power utilizes linear movement of the waves to actually generate electricity with motors, and similar to our design, but it's so expensive, it's not very viable for current use.
So Time's solution, we are a project analyzing the effectiveness of wave energy generation to a simulated buoyant pile for using TVPs for offshore construction or coastal infrastructure.
So now that we've identified the problem, let's talk about our solution. So we built this model out of plexiglass using our makerspace, and then we used silicone caulk to ensure that it was waterproof.
Let's look at how we simulate waves in our model. We use a 3D printed plate out of PLA that covers most of the cross-section of the rectangular box. This plate is driven by a rack and pinion mechanism controlled by a 5-turn servo motor running some basic code on an Arduino microcontroller. The first iteration of this, we actually used a hand crank, but we found it was hard to generate good waves using this. Next, we added guardrails on the side of the plate for it to follow to ensure consistently straight waves. We optimized the amplitude of oscillation, speed, voltage of the servo motor, and even the height of water in the tank to optimize our waves for energy generation in this model. Then, due to the waves, that plastic buoy moves up and down, moving magnets inside and out of a spool covered with magnet wire, generating AC voltage.
Yeah, so as Danny was talking about, this is our current design for electrical generation and sensing. We have these types of spools with magnet wire all around it, and this is just copper wire with a thin enamel coating. And so the enamel coating prevents the AC voltage from shorting itself out, because if it was just copper wire, it would just short out. And then we have a magnet that moves in and out. So some basic science is that when you have a magnet and you're moving it in and out of a coil, you're generating a little bit of AC current and voltage. And based off of the speed of movement and the amount of distance you're moving, you're going to generate more or less electrical current. And so after that, we have to create an implementation to generate and then sense the actual electricity. So this is our Arduino, and it's connected to some input-output pins. There's an analog pin and there's a digital pin. So the digital pin actually controls the light and LED. So in our demo later, which I'll pull up soon, we actually have an LED and buzzer that will light and buzz every single time there's an AC voltage created. And so, yeah, that is our basic principle behind electrical generation and sensing. Now let's have a quick little demo. As you can see, we have the whole setup created, and me and Tyler are out here presenting, and we have a buoy that moves in and out. And so you should be able to hear a beep for every single time that the buoy is moving in and out of the coil, generating AC voltage and current. Yeah, so that was just a quick clip of us testing it. Obviously, we couldn't do it because there's not, it would be difficult to move this whole demo and show it all to you guys. So sorry about that. And then now this is just a top-down view if you couldn't see the LED, and it's just a quick 5-second clip from the top. You can see Danny's Arduino design right here with the capacitor. Funny story, we almost blew up the capacitor because we switched the polarity, but it's all right. We created the final design and it works fine now. And so you can see from the top view here. And it's just muted because we don't want to talk over it. Okay. And then next, we have Title Titan and the poster board that Tyler made, and you can talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, so we couldn't use the poster board to present here due to the nature of the setting, but we wanted to highlight it anyways. We have our vision and problems, a general diagram of the wave tank in case you couldn't see it. We have the applications. It could be used for commercial docks and deep ocean piles, and the rest we're about to get to. So now that we've finished describing our tank, here's the actual results. So we have a graph here showing the difference in wave height versus energy generated in joules. We have a general equation here, and we have components of the equation. You guys want to read through those?
And it's just basically a quadratic model demonstrating our 1-inch voltage per, and then we're applying that on a larger scale.
So, a general analysis showed that our model produced 1 volt of electricity per inch of displacement. This means that if we put our model in the ocean, we would be generating about 4 joules per wave cycle, a wave cycle being 10 seconds. If we scaled this up and put it in a deep water environment, we would be generating about 11.25 million joules per wave cycle. This is about the same amount as 50,000 sticks of dynamite and could power 450 homes per day.
So what future improvements could we make with more funding and resources? Well, the first thing we would do is scale it up. We can enhance its efficiency with better parts and a standardized assembly. We can move the wire closer to the magnet so that it generates more electricity and energy. And we can also develop various different sizes so it can fit anywhere from commercial docks to remote research centers and rigs.
Yeah, so how do we go from this basic demo of a simple concept to actually introducing it into real world problems? So the first step of implementing Tidal Titan is to use that ocean construction infrastructure. So right now TVPs are currently in use, and adding a wave generator when you're building the TVP would make it a lot easier to lower the investment costs and those maintenance costs, because all of these things already are being taken care of when you're building it. The same price of sticking a metal pile down for an oil rig versus an oil rig with a wave generator is pretty much the same. And so we'll put it into these infrastructures. I know oil rigs use fossil fuels, but changes in our electric grid are not that easy, and it can't happen overnight. So if we're putting in oil rigs in different remote research settings, we can show proof of concept and make it easier to implement into our existing infrastructure. After that, we want to tackle the issue of building Tidal Titan into an independent project by itself. And so we would use that in commercial docks by itself to light up the docks, provide energy for the cities and the coastal regions around it. And that would just kind of be another step to create the independence between Tidal Titan and the use of fossil fuels. So we're slowly integrating Tidal Titan into the world, but slowly pushing away from that use of fossil fuels again. And then finally, the end goal would be to make these separate wave energy plants. So if Tidal Titan works within these fossil fuel settings, we can kind of push them away and show that this works by itself, and that would be able to create support for us to actually use wave energy by itself.
This marks the end of our presentation on Tidal Titan. Thank you for your time.
Thank you to Southern Hills. And next, we would like to welcome up Sycamore High School.
Hi guys, excited to present to you guys. Thank you all for watching. We're from Sycamore High School, and today we're going to be presenting our project, which is Scholar Seek. My name is Rohan, and I'm a senior.
My name is David Zhang. I'm also a senior.
My name is Arush Paul, and I'm a junior. My name is Rachit Gupta, and I'm a senior.
And I'm Eli Korach. I'm a current junior.
So our presentation is going to be split into three main components. One is the problem, two is the solution, and three is the demo.
As many of you may know or are currently experiencing, college can be very expensive. For most people, the only way to afford college is to take out a huge loan. And on average, the average student loan debt in the United States is around $30,000.
With such a large student debt, scholarships have become more necessary than ever. Yet, even with over 1.5 million scholarships available to high school students, only 1 in 8 receive one. And a regular high school student may have the qualification for as many as 50 to 100 of them. And a large part of this problem is that 42% are not found through a simple web search.
Alright, so let's talk about some of the existing market solutions and their associated problems. One is that it's tedious to find relevant scholarship opportunities. If a student wants to find a scholarship, when they do a Google search, the results are spread across so many different sites. This is also exacerbated by the fact that some scholarships are offered by small organizations that don't have the means for good SEO programs, so they might be buried deep within Google search results and unavailable to students. A secondary issue is that they're also not tailored to student interests and activities. For example, if a student has a niche interest in a science field and wants to do a research project with a scholarship, finding the exact scholarship that meets his or her criteria may be very difficult. This ties into the next point that it's time-consuming to manually sort through the chosen opportunities. They might have to verify eligibility requirements, and which would potentially take them hours and will result in wasted time if they're not able to get the scholarship. Finally, it's very difficult to meet multiple scholarship deadlines and delegate time as a busy student. I mean, I'm sure you all know because you come to a tech conference on a weekend, so I'm sure you guys have a lot of other extracurricular activities and schoolwork to manage. So when you have all of these factors in combination, it can be difficult to manage your time and make sure you're meeting deadlines for scholarships. So that brings us to our phase 2 of our presentation, which addresses the solution and how we would actually go about to tackle this problem. So our solution is ScholarSeek AI, which enables students to search efficiently by leveraging emerging artificial intelligence technologies, including large language models. On one hand, we offer custom student profiles and interest sorting, which means that no matter how niche your interests, scholarships can be brought directly to you. We also have functionality that creates sample schedules based on students' availability with automated checking emails to ensure accountability, which means, for example, if you have a scholarship deadline in 2 weeks, our bot would automatically email you back in 1 week and make sure you've completed enough of the application to submit in time. Finally, accessibility is a huge issue for us because, as we mentioned, many students struggle financially. So we want to offer a free-to-use chatbot that can be reached anytime online and provides downloadable reports. We implemented this using JavaScript calls to the Anthropic API, and we implemented the automated email checking features using Python scripts.
So here's how it's used. So again, I'm a current junior, which means college is up on the rise, and a big factor for me and my family is cost. So this is how I would use ScholarSeek. First, I would enter my prompt, which would include a description of me, which is grades, interests, and extracurriculars. I'd put in that I'm a junior, I'm interested in the business field, and that I do extracurriculars, such as soccer. Now, I would start to receive some recommendations from our AI bot. So based on my inputs, I would get recommendations about me, local scholarships that actually apply. Someone who's a junior, who's interested in business, and maybe even something that has to do related to soccer or other extracurriculars that I've inputted. This ensures that when I'm deciding on a scholarship, I'm actually looking at things that truly apply to me. So after identifying these recommendations, I can select a current target scholarship. Maybe something that gives a good amount of money based on the time needed to fill out the interview, and also other things that apply to me. So ensuring that it's a business scholarship or something else in that related field. And because of that, I'll achieve. I'll utilize that sample schedule that's given to me as well as those reminder emails to ensure that I actually get these things done. With all these scholarship opportunities out here, ScholarSeek AI is helping me to funnel down my choices and find what applies to me the best, and ensuring that I get it done, to ensure that I make it to college at a good price.
So how does it work? To get into a little bit more technical side, we utilize large language model technologies and dynamic knowledge bases. So essentially the way this works is that we have a scraper that is constantly monitoring the top scholarship sites for a local city, which in our case would be Cincinnati. And then based on the data, the AI model trains itself and makes sure that it's aware of all the possible scholarship opportunities and condenses this information into one centralized knowledge base. It's called a vector database. This is also an easily adaptable model for any city or school district. While it's mainly focused on cities in Ohio right now, this could be easily adapted for any school or any district across the nation by simply changing the parameters of the knowledge base.
So looking forward, we're going to first solidify ourselves into schools in the greater Cincinnati area. So what this means is that we want to first meet with schools, counselors, vice principals, and really understand how we can actually implement this product into the district for the upcoming school year. So after that, we hope to also branch out to other Ohio schools as we realize that our product is easily adaptable and it can be constantly updated. So just really solidifying ourselves and building a consistent and reliable user base within the state of Ohio will allow us to really branch out and continue to improve. And then after that, long term, we understand that financial need is a huge concern for any student around the nation, around the world. So we want to first, after we've established the other plans, we want to make sure that we're branching out with this product to any student, no matter the demographic, no matter where they live. We want to make sure that cost is not a problem for any student around the world.
All right, now we want to show you guys a demo of our product. We have a short little video here. This example is a high school's athlete from Northern Kentucky who wants to find relevant scholarship opportunities to them. As you can see, they're typing into a prompt into an intuitive-to-use chatbot. Once they press submit, they'll be greeted with a good response that identifies exact scholarship opportunities for them in an easy-to-understand way with categories such as eligibility, deadlines, and application requirements. This is also different from OpenAI models such as ChatGPT because they're not up to date, whereas our vector database is constantly scraping online results and updating every single day, which ensures that information is consistent, accurate, and easy to use. This next example is a video demo where students inputting their availability requirements for the upcoming few weeks. In this case, they have 3 weeks to get on scholarships and have a few hours every week. So as you can see, our AI has automatically generated a sample schedule for them, and using our Python scripts, it's automatically sending the results via email, telling them exactly what they need to do and on what day. This is Scholarseek AI, your personal scholarship assistant, and thank you for watching.
Thank you so much to our Sycamore chapter. Could we have one more round of applause for them? And now I would like to welcome up We Lead CS, our final showcase.
Hello everyone, my name is Elias Cardosa. I'm Cody Lawson.
And my name is Elizabeth Newell. We are all sophomores studying computer science at We Lead Academy.
Today we are here to present to you a project that we have made for software development.
Entitled Plant Pal, where we put the plan in plants.
Now, as I'm sure you may know, this area in Ohio, and also Kentucky, which is where we are located at, is big on agriculture. There's many different plants that are being grown here, and with that comes greenhouses that are made specifically for the colder months, such as right now. So if you've ever gone to one of these to get yourself a plant, maybe for your house or some flowers, you've probably come across one that looks a lot like this, where the plants have been left alone to dry, maybe due to weather conditions or just nobody being able to enter.
Now at We Lead, we spent a lot of time researching to come up with a creative solution to take your greenhouse from looking like this
to this. A nice, green, prosperous greenhouse.
Now, from a surface level view, the goal of our project may simply look like we're just trying to hook up a microbit to an app that will help your plants grow to be green and healthy.
But when you look at our project from a deeper level, you can see that we have many more goals for this project. In fact, that's not even our top. Our mission in this project is to really push out computer science to all schools around Kentucky. We currently have a chapter team, and we have created from 4 or 5 different counties right now, but we are planning to try and push it out more. It is important that everyone understands that IT is an up-and-coming thing, and it is important that we know it. IT touches in everything nowadays, and we would like to show that by being able to work with FFA teams. This was not easy though. We had to have a lot of trial runs. There was a lot of errors, and we just had to work with it and learn from it. Our original piece was only a breadboard and a computer base that could only measure temperature, and we have come a long way since then.
Here is our final hardware piece that we have landed on. As you can see, compared to the first image, there's a lot more now added to it. And this is to make sure that you have all the correct information to make sure you're growing quality and healthy plants. This contains an IoT bit, which allows it to connect to different devices. A computer base, which lets it actually communicate to everything and process all the data. A soil moisture sensor and a water level sensor, which allow you to keep track of the plant itself. A 180-degree servo that will be used for automation. A microbit, which serves as a base for everything. And a sonar and room sensor to let you know more information on anything in the room.
When
here we have, Here we have the actual model itself. And unlike the picture, which is blown up really big, you can see it's actually pretty small. And most of these components will be stuck in the ground. The only real thing that will be above ground and need to be mounted onto something would be the actual microbit and board, which is up at the very top.
When our hardware piece is installed into a greenhouse, it will track all of the data from our sensors and send it back to our software piece.
Here we have our software piece, which is of course made in JavaScript, as you can see on the screen. We made this in JavaScript and then made a simple block coding interface so that whenever we show this off to other people, they can easily see the flow of it. So not only are we teaching other people, but we are learning from this ourselves, since JavaScript wasn't something we were familiar with. What the actual software piece does is set instructions to the microbit so that it knows how to use the sensors. Then it takes those sensors to gather data and send it to the computer.
Now, you guys saw a picture of our microbit. It has a bunch of different pieces because it's gathering so much data. Now, this is where our app comes in because it not only allows our users to simply just read the data, but also get live updates of that data. We built our app in Glide, which is good for prototypes because it handles data really well. However, it does limit what we can actually do on the app. This is a short overview of our app. Again, it's really simple, but we have 3 tabs. We have a user tab so you can see who's doing what in the greenhouse, a greenhouse tracker where you can see the different data your microbit is tracking, and a plant tracker to see what specific data for different plants. Now, there's 2 things we'd like to do in the future for this app. The first thing is have it to where the users can actually choose between what graph they want to see, from bar graph to line graph. Another thing is we want to switch our app over from Glide to React Native. React Native offers a lot more advancement opportunities for our app, and the only problem with that though is we have to learn Java.
Speaking of future plans, we would like to implement an automation solution into our project. As you know, our project sends live updates to the app so that our user can go on the app and see what temperature it is near their plant. And we also are working on creating something that, based off the data, will send them notifications that say, oh, maybe you need to move this out of the light, or you need to water it. But our automation plan, and we already have that in the works, we have a 180-degree server connected to our microbit that is coded by Elias to whenever our soil moisture drops to a certain level, it will flip. We would like to add some sort of water holder to it so that whenever it drops, it automatically waters itself. This takes the pressure off of day-to-day people in their greenhouse, and from people like when you are doing FFA at your school, you're not there on the weekends, but that doesn't mean your plants don't need water. We would also like to work on adding a Wi-Fi bit to our piece. We also have already ordered that and we are now waiting on it. When it arrives, we will be able to send live updates easier. Wrapping up our project, I would like to go over some of the keynotes we discussed today.
The first of which is the agricultural importance of this. As we said, many different places have greenhouses, and especially for places like schools where there's not always a person readily available. This will help take pressure off of those for the Saturdays, Sundays, and other breaks so that they can have bigger projects. And of course, agriculture is a growing field, and it will always be a growing field. So it is very important that we help keep pushing it forward.
When you're trying to push something forward, you're going to need a lot more people. And while agriculture is big and FFA is big, we would like to add leadership teams all across Kentucky so that they can bring their computer science aspect and connect with their FFA groups.
Now, once again, we spent a lot of time researching this, and when we did, we found no other idea quite like it, and it took a lot of creativity.
Once again, this is Elias Cardoso,
Cody Lawson,
and Elizabeth Noel. We have added the QR code up here too if you would like to take a look at our app. Thank you for your time.
Can we get one more round of applause for all of our students? So next, we want to hear from you, our students. So we've actually switched to Huba for this portion. The QR code will not be in use.
But on Huba at 12:55 we have a form coming out. If you could please pick your favorite showcase. Of course, you can see up here all of our showcase presentations along with the name as a reminder. Pick your favorite showcase, and then based on that, one of our top 5 teams will receive your popular vote. For our judges, if you could please finish filling out your forms, and then at the end of the day today, at our final ceremony, we will be announcing the top 5 for showcase. Thank you again.